I'm about to say something about the anime Ashura that I really don't think many will agree with. I do think many will say it's been very good, but I don't think most are going to give the praise I'm about to, and that's fine. But if I'm being honest, between episodes 9 and 10, I just watched both today, with Star Runner's fight in episode 9, the tactics, the creativity of that whole wyvern situation, mixed together with this latest episode with Spider Waifu going up against someone who's literally fighting with a sword. And honestly, most of that fight, I was expecting him to die. Rest in peace to Spider Mommy, of course. I legitimately think, maybe if I was to split it up, which one do I like more? I would say I like episode 10 more, but because I watched both of these together, and because it's all in one, setting, right? Like, this whole city's on fire because of what happened. I consider it kind of like one big piece of action that's combined with all these different stories interlinked. But I legitimately think this is my favorite piece of action that I have seen this anime season. 100%. And when you have shows like Soul Leveling that are airing this season, that's where most people are going to point to. And I love that show. I'm not one of the people who says, oh, because it's popular, it's overrated. No, I absolutely fuck with that show. It's awesome. But for me, these past 2 episodes blew me the hell away, shooketh me, gets my mind racing about concepts like Kia, who I think is a god among men. Overall, these past 2 episodes, 10 out of 10. I can nitpick some of the Wyvern 3D, but when a majority of the past 2 episodes has so much 3D incorporated and it blends so seamlessly, I'd just be nitpicking at that point. This has been incredible. I have full live reactions to all these wonderful episodes of Ashura over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full uncut thoughts as we watch them, they're over there if you're interested. So, where do we even begin? We have, at this point, a city that is completely on fire, destined to be complete rubble by the time. It's pretty much reminiscent of that of the end of episode 1 when that girl's, when Sojiro found that girl and, everything was just destroyed. That's what it was looking like. And the way all these political stories and who's trying to capture power or use chaos to their advantage. And then you just have moments where characters that you haven't seen in a hot minute, like Star Runner, comes in and you have a army of wyverns who are basically prepared. Most of them are a lot more simple-minded than the leader is, but the leader tells about the range of his attacks, what he might do, the poison bullets, all this different stuff, and they actually were countering him. Last episode, episode 9, I actually thought Star Runner was gonna die. And with episode 10, I thought our man was gonna die because I was like, this mech's gonna absolutely destroy him. Both episodes don't go in a direction that I really see coming. And the big thing that makes both of these episodes so good is it's kind of like a hand-holding moment. The production was legitimately good, and it made it feel as fast and just insane to keep up with as the characters were acting. But the biggest was that there was tactic, strategy, and a lot of really clever maneuvers. One of the biggest, bait and switch, Star Runner opens up this jar. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but it's like magma in a bottle. He drops a single little droplet from the sky, and flames erupt from every single, it basically, if it's a road connected somewhere, that's it. Everything is flames. And he uses that at one point to make it look like he gets shot down, right? But actually, there's nothing there. And then he's down below. And just the way they do this whole maneuver to just pull the rug from underneath people's feet was so clever that by the time that fight's done, neither one of the leaders, so between Star Runner and the commander of the Wyverns, both end up escaping, but Jesus, man, every which way you looked at it, you're like, there's no way that it's gonna get better, and then somehow it gets better. And then the first 2 or 3 minutes of that episode, you get what looked to be Sojiro versus the mech. He's the only character who apparently can cut through that suit of armor, which says a lot given what we see in episode 10. But you think, oh, this is going to be a fight. Nope, it's not. You can't actually predict which characters are actually going to throw hands and which characters are going to make it out alive. I actually think this is one of the more unpredictable shows where you can't say for sure a character's alive. Look at episode 10. Once he peeled off the suit of armor, I thought if this was any other show, Sojiro would pop up, be like, no, that's the person I want to fight. No. He cuts her head off, clean. It's not even up for discussion. Unless she can regenerate, unless her wires can, reattach her body or something, she's dead, gone for good. And just the way, someone who you would think, oh, if Sojiro can casually cut one of its eyes, and this man can't cut through anything, clearly he's not strong enough to defeat her, and Sojiro would be the one to do it. But no, even if he couldn't physically do that, he was able to locate the nerves, pry her open, and so casually kill her. You don't see that coming, and when you look at the animation and the directing for this fight, he was being smart. He was luring her into, like, at one point, he lures her over the broken fountain, because his idea was, after she gets basically engulfed in flames, if there's certain air bubbles, because there has to be, like, little pockets for air to get in, then the water bubbles will, like, erupt with the heat, and it will kind of, like, blow her apart. But she's completely solid, like, there was nothing there. There's a lot of strategy and tactics. And that whole fight, the fact that the worst I can say about the past 2 episodes animation is sometimes when you look at the general wyverns that are just flying and they're just focusing on them, they don't look the greatest. But in movement and in execution of all the front and center characters, this, like, you're looking at a 3D, like, this reminded me of 86, the anime 86 from A1 Pictures, and how their kind of spider mechs moved around. That's how she looked and how solid she looked. It was incredible. And then to top off the latest episode, Kia, just earlier, we see what this giant ice laser of death can do. It's about to go off because this girl's having a mental breakdown, because who wouldn't after the hell she's been through? Stop, and just gets rid of it. In theory, a character like her could probably heal that entire town. Like, her words of power probably have, the only limitations is what her mind can't think of. If she has the imagination, she could probably grow a goddamn tree that's been there for 1,000 years if she says so. She could bring someone back to the dead probably if she says so. It's actually frightening. And honestly, it kind of feels like old Sensei was having a change of heart, but I totally expect next episode's gonna come around, and she's already dead without realizing it. She's probably poisoned her already. I don't know, but it was a whiplash, man. Like, I understand a show like this, it's kind of like destined for a bit of failure because, one, it's not, you know, streaming on like a bigger platform like a Crunchyroll, it's, you know, it's airing on a busier day, and maybe just people weren't messing with like the first half because there were so many character interactions, and that's fine. People don't like it, they don't like it. But this has some of the more satisfying payoff that I've seen in a one core in a long time. I liked the multiple characters, I liked all their introductions, and I was worried about this Colosseum fight, and it turns out, rather than going for a battle royale, we actually have a big political war-torn story that still gives you a lot of the fights you were anticipating, many of which you probably weren't sure if you were getting at all, and turns the show into an absolute banger. This is legitimately one of the biggest hidden gems for me of this season. I'm not sure if I'd call it amazing or like a masterpiece, but it's a damn great show. And for me anyway, episodes 9 and 10, if I combine those together, is my personal favorite action and fight scene that I've seen this anime season. Many will probably disagree, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying you have to agree with me, this is my opinion, and my opinion is it fucking slaps. Let me know what you thought though down below, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we have those full live reactions over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got TA, Amy, Aslam, Miranda Shaw, Corded Cleric 42, and Ruben Filmua. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.